Hello and welcome to another Warcraft the audio commentary. Today we're going to be watching a best of 3 for a Chinese league or tournament. Again, I don't really know whether it's a tournament or a league. It's in Chinese. I can't read it. I don't know how to say what it is. Yeah, so I don't know. It's in Chinese. If you want to read more about that, it's in Chinese in the description below, so if you know how to read Chinese, you can click at that, but otherwise, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to bother anymore with it. So anyway, this map is Turtle Rock, and we can go ahead and introduce our players. We have WE.Xiaokai spinning in as the light blue undead. Down here at about the 5 o'clock position, he will be going up against Yumiko, spawning as the pink human over here at about the 4 o'clock position. Of course, this is a close spawn, which could potentially pose a threat for either one of the players. How that's going to end up playing out depends on how they play, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what ends up happening there. Of course, right off the bat, we're actually going to see one of these militia pretty much being very bloodthirsty, saying, I saw your acolyte, I know what you're doing over there, so I'm pretty much not even going to go bother to finish scouting you, at least not yet. And maybe he's bringing a second militia to actually go scout and just chase with this one militia. Or maybe he's even going to, maybe he's just going to try to kill that acolyte right off the bat, saying, you know, I'm going to deny you that acolyte right now. I don't want that alive. And that could be a couple of reasons. One, he might say, you know what, I want to scare you, because if I kill your acolyte right here, then that means that was a very intentional display of me killing this acolyte, and he's not getting any experience for it. So it's what's the benefit behind sending a second militia that could be mining wood to go ahead and try to kill that acolyte? And well, essentially what that kind of says to me as a player and as someone who's watching this game says, okay, well, if he's doing that, that means he really wants me to not have any extra acolytes wandering around, so he's probably looking to do some kind of acolyte harass at some point in the game. And you know, that's something that, you know, he might need to be a little bit wary of. Kai, that is, of course, needs to be a little bit wary of that. But here we're going to see Kai coming in here. He knows that there is going to be a skeleton right there. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and actually manage to steal one of those little turtles. Uses skeleton rods to pick up some skeletons, and of course, you can see he's got that 20 experience. Yumiko should be sitting in about, let's see, yeah, oh, and never mind, I didn't quite understand it would be 100, but it's 100. That's actually interesting. So if you kill 2 of those turtles, including the big one and a skeleton, you get 100 XP, which puts you smack dab in the middle, halfway to level 2. So there you go. I learned a cool little figure there. Will that actually get denied? Nope. 112 XP, just like that. Over here, we can see there's no tower up right here for Yumiko, and so he's going to take a little bit of harass from Kai right now, and he's actually going to go ahead and begin his keep tech really fast, actually. And that is a 3-minute tech, roughly, more or less. Of course, Kai doing about the same exact timing right there. And across the map, we can see that Yumiko is going to be creeping out some turtles. So over here, we can just see these militia, the skeleton just saying, hey, let me just go ahead and try to stop you from having too much wood. He's going to back off, bring up some more skeletons, come back in here. And of course, we can see Yumiko trying to get up a tower now. And that tower should be able to go up, because I don't think Kai's going to really bother focusing a tower down when he could be killing peasants and such right now, and it's delaying the mining and all of that. And there's a lot of threats there, and of course he'd have to try to kill with his skeletons, and they would get repaired, and it would just be pretty not too great for him going into that at all. And actually, yeah, let's look over here. We can see that also now Yumiko is creeping out in orange. He is level 2 on that Archmage, and over here we can see that there's only one militia that's kind of close to coil death range, and he's at 105, 106 HP, which is still not quite enough. He needs to take one more hit from a skeleton. So of course Kai just decided it's time to back off. He is making some fiends over here, so he's like, I'm not doing too bad. He did have that Nubian tower. You always want to have a Nubian tower, especially in this sort of situation. And meanwhile, he's being out-crept by Yumiko. As you can see, Yumiko sitting with a level 2 Archmage right there, and getting fairly close to level 3. As you can see, going to put him up to 393 out of 500 XP. Over here, we can see that Kai is going to go ahead and start creeping out his little guy right here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, it would be 96. It might be 106 XP from the screen camp if I'm not wrong. I think it's about 106. Anyway, we can see a blacksmith going up for Yumiko. And Yumiko's, you know, with the blacksmith, he's doing pretty good. So 108, because he actually had 20 XP from this one he stole right there. So it's 108 XP from this. I'm stupid. That actually is obvious in hindsight, but whatever. Anyway, so we have Yumiko over here. He's got these low HP footmen. He's running them, and a kind of an odd path across the map. He doesn't want those to get found by Kai. He doesn't want to risk losing those. But we see Kai just running around stuff all over the map, trying to say, well, what can I find? And also, is he going with a defend? If he had defend, he could probably just creep this out with 2 footmen. I don't quite know if he could, but I wouldn't be surprised if he could. Oh, and he's actually going to go, he has a staff of teleportation, so he's creeping out this, trying to deny some experience, pick up the item that Kai won't get to. That is a bit of a deny of an item, as well as a creep camp right there. Not a complete creep camp, but whatever. And he's going to come over here now and say, alright, what am I going to do? Well, there's a gauntlets over your strength on the ground right there. Will he pick that up? He's probably going to go sell an item and come back and get that. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. because that's a great item for him. Of course, that's 75 life right there in an item, so that's not a bad item whatsoever. You can sell that staff if he wants to. He doesn't really need it again, does he? Probably not. We'll see if he does. No, I'm just going to sell the intelligence item. He doesn't need the mantle. And that's fair enough. He loses a little bit of damage, but your Archmage doesn't really need damage as much as he needs life. And of course, he does have that Claws of Attack +6 right there. He doesn't really need the mana coming from that intelligence either, because he is a intelligence-based hero who does have a Brilliance Aura. So it's basically a mana regeneration aura, which is pretty good. Down here we can see, of course, that Kai is teching pretty much a tier 3 pretty quickly. He doesn't have a slaughterhouse going up. He just said go Lich and tier 3 tech, and that's going to work out probably pretty decently. Over here we can see Yumiko coming in, trying to get something there. Not going to be able to get anything other than just watch his heart get broken as that ward is taken up by Kai right there. So that's what that is. Over here we can see that Yumiko also going straight for tier 3 pretty much. He is going to get Mountain King out second. He does have 2 additional scout towers up just in case he decides to do something with those guys. Currently it doesn't look like he will though. And both players just attacking to tier 3 pretty quickly, seeing who's going to be with the better tier 3 strategy. And of course over here we can see Kai now getting that slaughterhouse up right there. Of course we can see he is going to have to buy another Rod of Necromancy, pick up these skeletons right here. I'm kind of curious what he's interested with this one. He's going to have to scout around with it. What does he think Yumiko is doing? I don't have any clue. But anyway, Yumiko is going to come over here. It looks like he's going to try to maybe do some kind of intercepting on units that might be reinforcing Kai's army, but there won't be any of those for a little while. As you can see, of course, that slaughterhouse has not yet finished, and Burrow is halfway done being researched. So over here, it looks like Kai is saying, I'm pretty happy and content to try to come over here and do some damage. He's going to bring a sacrificial skull as well and pick up some more skeletons from that dead body. He's probably realized that Yumiko doesn't have any units right now other than just these guys right there. He's got those 2 footmen, his 2 heroes, and that's it. And that's actually going to be enough with these militia to force him to TP. As you can see, of course, that's going to be a very powerful, terrible situation for him to be in, being sandwiched behind a Mountain King and a level 3 Archmage, of course, with militia on the other side, not really having a lot of area to actually move around and maneuver in. Of course, meanwhile, we can see, of course, he is going to scout both of these red camps up here, just in case Yumiko decided to do a really sneaky expo. Now, he probably would have been able to figure that out just by looking at the items and experience and the timing, but again, why not be safe with it? Because honestly, that's a pretty simple scout. It costs him whatever 4 divided by 150 is like 30 gold or something like that. It's pretty cheap what it costs him to do that scout, and it guarantees that he doesn't have to worry about that any kind of underhanded sneaky type play coming in from Yumiko. Yeah, so there you have that. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It doesn't hurt to have that as something you can say. Of course, we're gonna see now that he is tier 3. He's gonna pick up an Orb of Corruption from his shop. Will he pick up a Town Portal as well? No, a Rod of Necromancy, and that seems to be it. Maybe he's very much interested in committing to an attack very soon. However, of course, we're going to see over here, Yumiko is going to go for a Red Creep camp right here at this Ogre Lord camp right here with 10,000 gold mine. He's, of course, going to go straight for that Ogre Magi. Why not? That will allow you to drop down that Rune of Healing that you can then pick up whenever you feel like you need it in case you get creep jacked or something. It's a pretty good idea to do that. Sometimes you'll see people going for the Ogre Lord 7 first, and that's not bad either. Of course, you can also see just go ahead and use that Rune of Healing. Why not if you have a low HP footman? For the most part, your water elementals are going to be tanking from here on out. As you can see, this one is attacking this one, and these 2 guys are attacking that one. So it's not like you're going to really have any major benefit to using that Rune of Healing, at the end of the fight as to when he used it right there. So it was perfectly fine to do that. Of course, you can see Kai going to use another Sacrificial Skull right here. Very interesting, of course, and he has picked up a Potion of Invulnerability on that Death Knight, and that is a pretty good consumable item. Pretty much the best you're going to get from this sort of creep camp. Sometimes, occasionally, a Scroll of the Beast might be your best item as an undead player, because sometimes you'll see yourself going for like some crazy push timings where you need to do a whole lot of damage and do a lot of pressure, and a 45-second, 15% or 25% increased damage to your army can actually be very, very game-changing. But that's not really going to be the case in this game. In this game, I definitely would say the Potion of Invulnerability may very well be, if not the best item, probably up there with the top 2. Maybe another item that would have been better would be the Greater Mana Potion. I'm not sure, because while mana is super important, he's got these statues out. I don't know, so it's a very difficult call for me to make right there. But anyway, we can see, of course, Kai going with Abominations coming out right now, and here we can see him actually going to go ahead and creep out Yumiko. I'm sorry, going to creep out this Goblin Merchant shop. He will be able to pick up Boots of Speed as well as that Observer Ward right there, and that does mean he has 2 pairs of Boots of Speed. Going to put one of those on the Archmage instead of selling it, and he's got actually a Medallion of Courage as well on that Mountain King, as well as a Ring of Protection +2. And that does give him +4 strength and +4 intelligence, as well as +2 armor. Of course, he also has the Dust of Appearance, and that will be level 3 on that Mountain King right there. I'm going to pick up a Tome of Intelligence, bringing that Mountain King up to 390 mana. A pretty scary Mountain King, all things considered. Over here, of course, you can see Kai still at level 2 on the Lich, and about 3/4 of the way through level 3 on that Death Knight. And I mean, Yumiko is not really sweating this at all. He's in the back, he's just building, he's saying, I can lose a farm here and there. It's not a huge deal. You know, if kill what you gotta kill. He's like, but you're not creeping and I'm creeping. And this is a pretty good move by Yumiko. And on top of that, we're actually gonna see Yumiko coming in here with a Dragonhawk who's using Cloud to go ahead and ignore these towers. And now he's gonna try to do some damage with his heroes. And this could potentially force, it's gonna force Yumiko or Kai to have to come back here and try to deal with this army. And he doesn't want to do that because right now he's got that tower. He made that Spirit Tower specifically so that he could actually continue that push without having to come back here and deal with this. And as you can see, he's gonna have to do that right now, and it's not good. Of course, we're seeing some pretty nice micro here, but he's gonna lose that gold. There's almost no way out. Down it goes. And of course, there are these two footmen here as well coming in, trying to do some serious damage to these guys. And let's see, those destroyers actually gonna take out that Dragonhawk right there. Those destroyers can actually come in here and eat these water elementals and do a lot of damage right there if they get microed. In the meantime, we're just seeing an Abomination tanking these towers. Of course, we're seeing him Kai trying to take down the towers. Of course, Arcane Tower going to do a lot of damage to that Death Knight. Over here we can see finally these destroyers have been brought into the fight. Going to pick up some experience as well as a little bit of other stuff for that. Of course, you can see down to 2 Acolytes. That's quite a pain for Kai to be sitting at. He only has 2 Acolytes. He doesn't have enough gold, as you can see, sitting at 23 gold. And over here we can finally see that Yumiko's still saying, my base is fine. He's like, I don't have to worry about it. Of course, I mean, there is some resource damage being done to Yumiko. But all in all, I definitely think Kai is sitting in the worst spot right now. As you can see, he's going to have a long time before he can actually go ahead and do anything, unless he goes ahead and, sells an item, which isn't a bad idea. Definitely a good idea. He needs to start getting some more of these Acolytes back out. And, you know, if he can just force an engagement, he could easily win the game. No problem versus a Mountain King and a Archmage. And, of course, you know, 2 Griffin Riders, that's really nothing at all. But since he can't really force an engagement, he's going to have a little bit of trouble here, which is interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, Yumiko is definitely playing, just outplaying him, really. And of course, he's probably going to bring those Griffin Riders over here to maybe try to do some more harass with him. He could try to do that. Of course, Kai is creeping right now. And so it's a little bit different, of course, Kai with his creeping. What item will he pick up from that creep camp? Maybe he picked up another potion of invulnerability. He might have sold the other one. That might have been the item he sold. And so, yeah, I guess that's what he did. He sold an item, a potion of invulnerability. It happens. You know, it's not a bad item to sell. So in this sort of situation, because you're not really fighting anybody. He was like, yeah, I'm not really fighting, so I might as well do that. And then, you know, creep out and do a little bit more like that. Of course, in the meantime, without any kind of meat, if he had meat wagons right now, he could probably be doing enough damage to force Yumiko to come over there and actually engage him. But as it is, there's really not a lot. Of course, there are 2 Griffins. Oh, and they're both going to get webbed. Now, that's going to be really bad for Yumiko. Losing both of those guys means he can't really do any kind of harassing whatsoever right now. Yeah, and Yumiko is going to go ahead and call good game. So Kai played really well that game, but that was kind of a steamroll, wasn't it? It was a little bit. I mean, Yumiko had a really nice move there, but losing, if he hadn't lost those 2 Griffins to web, he could have kept playing smart and kept trying to do the harass, and his base could have held out for quite some time, but he just didn't have enough resources to take such a large hit, because that was pretty much his entire army right there that just got killed. And that's something that you have to build up over time. And you lose it like that, then you can't even distract Kai from your base when you need to. And so he's just going to wail down on your buildings, and that's going to work out. So that's pretty much why Yumiko said good game. And that's game 1. Now, game 2, I can assure you is going to be a much better game, a much better game. So I hope you guys get to check that out. I hope you watch it. Just click right here. It'll take you over to game 2, and I will see you there, hopefully.